Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Welcome to New Life Live. Chris Williams here, licensed marriage and family therapist. I have another one of us, meaning licensed marriage and family therapist, Marc Cameron.
Hey, good to be with you guys. Good to be here with Jim, too, because I don't get to be on with Jim very often.
And I just like Marc's voice.
Of course.
If he was my counselor, I'd say, I'll do it, just because of his voice.
Absolutely.
That great accent.
It would be healing just to sit there and listen to him.
Exactly.
You know?
I need all the help I can get, so.
And, obviously, I have Jim Burns, founder of Homeward, and author, pastor, and I think probably what you would say is your favorite role is Grandpa?
I'm loving being Papa J.
Papa J.
Papa J.
I love
Although
it.
my 6-year-old granddaughter just the other day said, Papa J, are you going to die soon?
Oh, my gosh.
And I, out of the mouth of the babes, I said, well, I'm not planning today. And I'm actually feeling really good. So I think I'm okay. I'm not sick.
Yeah.
And we just laughed. And her mother, my daughter, was just aghast.
Yes. She was like, what is going on
but,
here?
when you're older, that happens.
And, hey, legit question.
Yeah.
Right?
And we're all going to die. So, there you go.
Yeah. Jim, I'm curious, again, because I love sitting at the feet of your guys' wisdom. What do you have for us today?
Well, I was thinking about the season because, we're in the middle of Christmas season and just the holidays could get so stressful. And one of the things I wanted to say was, to our listeners is, what we have to do is we can choose to be as emotionally healthy as possible.
Yeah.
And when we choose and we do the work, then peace comes. And sometimes what that means is in the midst of busyness like crazy or extra, overworking on whatever it is, or dealing with drama in the family, I think we have to spend some time with God on a regular basis. I want to challenge them to actually literally, this is kind of more pastoral, but, make sure that you're putting at least a scripture in your mind every day. And, this morning I woke up to this in my mind, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And there's an action part to that. Let us, it's intentional. Let me rejoice. Acknowledge that, that God is present. And I think when we do that, I think we get healthier. And also, I think we have to make sure that we're not responding and reacting. I'm a responder and reactor, both in the good side and in the negative side. Mm-hmm. And so if I'm with drama and trauma in my family, I want to make it all better, or I want to react to silliness. And what I need to do sometimes is lower the temperature. So I'm going to challenge our people today to lower the temperature at family gatherings and things like that. You don't have to put it all together, and you don't have to argue about whatever the latest political thing is or whatever. Just sometimes, if we keep our mouths shut. There's a couple that I was with last week having a great conversation, and they had not been with their parents for some time. They were going and they were in trepidation. And I said, this isn't the time to argue and try to make it all right. Let them enjoy the kids and give them a good experience. Then bring the next thing. They called me up. They go, we had a great night, and actually now they're open to spending more time with us in a situation where there'd been some real conflict. I'm not saying the conflict.
Yeah.
You got to face conflict and you got to work through it, but you don't have to do it at the Christmas table or, on Christmas Eve.
Time and place matter.
Yay. Time and place matter. So that's just simple, but get as emotionally healthy as you can. And sometimes we let that go when we're so busy.
As you said, with the drama and trauma family, we oftentimes go into these situations and our mind is preoccupied with who they are.
Yeah.
But I think it's the wrong preoccupation.
It's really
I think
bad.
the question isn't who are they. The question is who am I and who do I want to be? Mm-hmm. And I think with that encouragement to connect to God, there is a person I want to be. I may not be able to fully access that guy. I'm going to need God's help.
Yeah.
And I think of, that Jesus came in the fullness of grace and truth. I want to be a person that is graceful with others and truthful with myself. And I want full measures of that. And may I bring that this Christmas, but I'm going to need God's help to do that.
So good.
Listen, I got a lot of wisdom here in the room with these two gentlemen, and we're going to head to a break. But as we come back to that, we are going to jump in and help you. We'll be back right after this.
I've been struggling with a porn addiction for the last 20 years.
Are you struggling with porn? New Life's Every Man's Battle Intensive can help.
Every Man's Battle explains to you why you are like you are, and they give you the tools and they show you how to work your way through the problems and where to get help and how to get help and who to get help through.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
This was the first time in my life that I ever felt comfortable sharing the real me with other men.
Get help on January 20th in Atlanta. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Use the discount code NLL to save $50 on your registration.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me.
You don't have to struggle any longer. 1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad that you are with us today. And we're going to go straight to the phones. We're going to go to Karen in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, who connects with us on WFIL as well as our app. Karen, how's it going today?
Hi, it's going okay.
Good. Well,
Club New Life also.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Club New Life. Excellent. Thank you so much for your partnership. And we love having you. And now that you're on today, tell us what's going on, how we can help you.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with connections at my church.
Mm-hmm.
I've been going for over 10 years. And no relationships have been formed. It's just, saying hi to people, and that's about as far as it goes. I do service at my church. I even had 2 surgeries and didn't get any kind of help from anyone from church.
Uh-huh.
The pastor did come out, and, he said that wasn't a strong suit of his. And then when he was leading my husband's men's group, he asked, he said, have you gotten any support? And my husband said no. And the church is very cliquey. People have been going there for many years. Their parents went there, and so they're there, and their children and grandchildren are there. And it's just made it really difficult, and it's made me very sad and not wanting to go to church. And I just don't know where to go from here.
Yeah.
Karen, 2 questions. How big is your church? And then do other people seem connected at your church?
My church, we have a new pastor. She's been there about a year and a half. And some young people have come in because of her, because she's 30 years old. And so there's about, I'd say, it used to be about 50, 55. So I have to say 65 maybe. It's not a huge church.
Okay, not very big. Are other people connected? When you look around on a Sunday morning, are people chatting? Are people connecting? Is there groups happening?
Absolutely. And, we have a social group, and my husband and I planned one. And we happened to be playing miniature golf indoors, and it was just so loud and so cold, so I went and stood outside. And I was on my phone, and when I put my head up, there were 4 women from the group that were standing there, and no one had said, "Are you okay?" Nothing. And then there's just never like, "How are you? How you feeling?" I get nothing. My husband nor I. And, my husband suffered cancer. And people come up and say, "Hi, how you doing?" But that's as far as
so
it goes.
it's nothing beyond the superficial response.
So this may not be this may not be the case with you, because your church is quite small, but sometimes the connections are only as deep as we make them, because I'm with you. I used to kind of feel like that when I went to church. When I was single, I was a single dad, and I would go actually to some big churches and feel like, well, no one comes up to me, no one reaches out to me. And then after I got married, and I watched my wife and the way that she connected with others, and she would be the one who would initiate. She would be the one who would, just notice something about someone, even like the shoes that they were wearing, and she would be like, oh, those are really comfortable. Where did you get those from? Or they look comfortable, or I like that t-shirt. And I actually learned so much. I have learned so much from her in learning how to reach out. And of course, that doesn't make for a deep connection, but it makes for a connection. And then that gives you an opportunity to chat with someone more to see if you can go deeper. Now, like I said, your church is quite small. So sometimes when groups are that small, it's hard to find somebody who's maybe the same age, same stage, same interests as you. And if that's what the struggle is for you, I would encourage you to try and find your connections in other groups too.
Yeah.
In your area.
Karen, 10 years is a long... Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You said another group in my area.
Yeah.
What are you referring to?
Well, sometimes your home church doesn't provide all of your needs, and we've got to look to the greater body of the church. And so it's okay to go to a different church and be involved in a women's group or be involved in a different ministry at a couple of different churches if you're not finding the connection that you need at your church, or even, maybe it's not even a church activity, maybe it's other groups in your community that you can get connected to find that connection with others. Do you live in a town that has other churches around or other community groups?
Actually, I do. Between two towns here, there are many churches that I can't even tell you. There's at least 10 within a month. So I didn't know that. And two of my friends go to a church, and I have to ask them if I could get involved in an activity there.
That'd be great.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, you don't have to go there on Sunday morning to do that.
Yeah, and you've been there. You've been at that church, Karen, 10 years. So that's a long time. And if it hasn't worked for you, again, I love when people are committed long term to a church. But if it doesn't work, for example, my wife, Marc, my wife actually teaches a Bible study that started with another church, and it's not our church. And that's her main group. We are very active in our church, but she gets a lot of stuff going on Tuesday nights from this Bible study that she teaches. So, you may want to go with those friends. You don't have to make a commitment immediately. Go and check it out. It doesn't sound like your husband he's in a small group, and so that's good.
Well, he's not. The pastor left, and
got
there's
it.
no men now.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Well,
but the nice thing was that he used to follow me around after the service, and finally, I encouraged him. I said, why don't you go talk to one of the guys? And he started doing that to the point where I didn't know where he was. So he started to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I do go to a Methodist church. He's Methodist. I'm not. I was in the Catholic Church many years, and then I got born again, and, I am a non-denominational person, as far as church, and he's not. But he's not against going someplace else. He knows people where we're at right now.
Well, Karen, you guys have done life together. And life for a long time. And so as Jim was saying, you've been there 10 years. And I always say this, once you have an experience for a decade worth of an experience, what I typically say is this, is what you have gotten is what you will get. So the expectation that they will be different is just a setup for more disappointment. So I love what Marc was telling you of like, hey, have you done what you can to reach out and connect? Yeah. Have you done what you can to show interest in other people and to create a deeper connection? Now we can, and it's a pretty small sample size there, 65 people. Right. And so you may, as Marc was saying, and you were saying as well, Jim, is reach out to a greater community of believers to find your deeper source of connection there. And it just does sound like, that you and your husband, it could be that these things are seasonal, meaning that like, hey, this church was in our life for this season. It was really good. And now that season is over. And so we're looking for something else, something that fits us where we are, where we can invest deeper and be invested in a deeper way.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to say, met somebody and said, hey, you want to go to lunch? Sure, I'll give you a call. Never hear. So then I set it up, and then I never hear again. So I have done that. Yeah,
and that's why I say it's like if I've done what I can and I got the answer that is clear to me, not the answer I want, and the answer is usually people's behavior, how they show up, and then I have to make different decisions in this. And the truth of the matter is, and this isn't to excuse any of us, but I have young kids. And boy, oh boy, we have to work really, really, really hard to carve out time for our small group, carve out time for church and connection. And I wish it was more readily available. My wife and I are actually talking right now about how do we open up our home more often and make deeper connections. But we also know that this is an unending chore. And I cannot believe how much intentionality, effort, and frustration that making deeper connections takes.
Yeah. Well, and I also encourage you, Karen, just to think about this. Is that feeling historical? Because sometimes people who feel lonely and are longing for someone to connect with them, that's a wound or it's a previous experience that they've had with others. And then, they form this self-belief that they're not good enough or that they're not worthy or others don't want to connect with them, and that stops them from reaching out. So I encourage you to think about it from that perspective too.
Absolutely. Well, Karen, we're going to send you a copy of the book People Fuel by John Townsend. And that book really shows us how different relationships are formed in our life and how different relationships are needed and how we go about negotiating them. And so, Karen, thank you so much for calling in today. And we are now going to go back to the phones. We're going to go to Tina, listening on line 1 from Phoenix, Arizona. Tina, how's it going today?
I'm good.
Good.
Today, if you talked to me 2 days ago, I would have been a wreck because I was obsessing about this issue.
Well, I'm glad you called today because we'd love to help you out.
Yeah. So my pastor teaches a lot about Matthew 18:15 through 17, and go show someone his fault of sin against you. And I know other passages parts of passages I'm telling you is take the speck out of your brother's eye, and Paul caused sorrow to the Corinthian church, but it led to repentance. And so I know those verses. I don't understand how to apply this in the situation I'm in right now. I have a 27-year-old son. He's dating, and he is soon going to be engaged. In the past, we've been very active in our kids' lives and had taught them about sexuality and have been very open, about sexual matters and stuff. And, for the most part, he's done okay, not perfectly. And so we just want to keep calling him the sexual purity. Him and his girlfriend went away on a trip, quote unquote, for 3 days by themselves. And I was like, whoa, that's just not, that's not cool. That's, in my opinion. But as a parent, I'm told, you're just supposed to love them and be available to them and, not be speaking out to them, And so I'm just, I find it difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the good news is that you called in today, and we have the expert on the matter, Jim Burns. He literally wrote a book on it. So, Jim, what do you have for Tina today?
Well, Tina, you're experiencing what so many parents experience. And by the way, number one, you talk to your children about sex and sexuality. that's a minority of people who do that. So I'll be at a seminar where I'll be speaking on this subject, and literally I'll get 2 or 3 hands in a group of 400 people said that their parents talked to them. And so now, you've already had that conversation. That's great. And as an adult, because he's 27, what I say is, and you said some of your friends are saying, well, you just have to love them. That's true. However, I always say, do they know how you feel? Do they know what you believe? And of course, your son does, right? So, I think you tell him what you believe, you tell him how you feel, but you do it in love, and then you expand the relationship, because if he crashes because he's made some poor choices, you want him to come back to you. So that's a key thing. But the actual day-to-day, teaching them on sexual purity is probably done, but they need to know what you feel and what you believe, but then expand the relationship. Don't shun him.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, because he's clear on what Tina and her husband believe and where they're coming from. Now it's his job to make that decision. And so, Tina, we're going to send you Jim's book, Doing Life with Your Adult Children, and believe that is going to be a good resource for you. And man, that is a tough journey.
It's tough.
And so, Tina, thank you so much for calling in, and we're going to be back right after this.
Hello, everybody. This is Becky Brown. And as we end 2024, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's given to New Life. Your generosity makes it possible for hurting people to connect with the help that they need. Help that can change everything for them and that will continue to have a ripple effect on their families, their communities, and even the world. Right now, you can double the impact of your giving through a $385,000 matching gift opportunity. Every dollar gets doubled. To make a tax-deductible gift and be part of Life Change, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com or text the word MATCH to 28950. That's 28950. I know that you want to make a difference in someone's life, and you will as you give to the match. Thank you in advance.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad that you are with us today. And Mark, you also had a thought for Tina.
Yeah, this is my thought for Tina, because she was talking about the pastor preaching from Matthew. I think she said 15 to 17. But if you go a little bit further, you go to Matthew 19. There's the story of the rich young ruler who comes to Jesus, and you know, you probably know the story where he talks about that he's done everything. What must I do to earn eternal life? Now, and Jesus tells to him 5 of the commandments. Now, the commandments are written in, 2 halves, basically. 5 of them are about God, and 5 of them about how you treat other people. And Jesus says to him, well, you know the commandments. And then he tells him the 5 about how you treat other people. He misses out the other 5 about what you should do with God.
Yeah.
And then the rich young ruler does not correct him, but he says, well, I've done all of those things. And then, because he didn't correct him, Jesus said, there's one more thing. Sell everything that you have and give that to God. And then he walks away sad. And so, to your point here, Jim, that Tina's, she's had the conversation. He knows where she stands. But at this point, he's not a child anymore. He's an adult son. And you don't want to be that one topic parent. And so there is that part and that tension of learning to allow somebody to walk away, and you can still love them.
Yes.
That's what the Bible says. It said Jesus let him walk away and he still loved him. And what did that mean? How do they know that he still loved him when he walked away? But the disciples could tell, that the way Jesus approached him, there was love in his heart toward him.
Yeah, that's good. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Mark. We have some exciting things coming up in 2025. One of the questions that we've been asking ourselves here at New Life is, how do we offer more opportunities and availability for people to get into the work that they need to address and work through some of life's hardest things? There's 3 specific things that we've been able to identify. One of those is grief. It's a human universal. We're all going to experience it at some time or another. But coming up here in the new year, to help gain clarity and find healing and continue our transformation, we're going to offer grief recovery courses. This is a 12-week program, and it is designed to offer you comfort, insight, and really help that process of moving through the grief process of losing a loved one into a better place. And so we're going to have grief recovery course for the death of a spouse, the death of a child. It could be the death of a parent or the death of a loved one. These start the week of January 13th. Again, we can say that, that's a ways off, but that's less than a month out. So please go to newlife.com today. And also, we have a Lose It for Life course. Great timing for this, right? In fact, I'm in this process right now of I got to lose some weight. And this is a 12-week course designed to give you the total solution. Not just a dietary or an exercise, but even a spiritual, emotional, and physical solution for permanent weight loss. We are going to have Lose It for Life course for women. We're going to have one for men, and we're going to have a co-ed Lose It for Life course as well. That also starts January 13th. And finally, we have a divorce recovery course. Again, we have one designed for women, one for men, and one that is co-ed as well. That one is going to start the week of April 7th. These are all led by a New Life therapist or coach. And so someone that we've vetted within our community. And this is really important. This is a minimum of 4, but maximum of 9 people. And so don't waste time. Sign up today. You can give us a call. You can register at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You can also go to newlife.com and the Get Help tab to find out more information or to register. And we would love for you to start your new year off in that healing and transformational process that we are offering, and very excited about that. Right now, we are going to Joe in Burlington, New Jersey, listening on WFIL. Joe, good to hear from you today. What's going on?
Thank you. I have a situation. I just can't even begin to think about ways to resolve it. I am married to what I believe is a covert narcissist, and I just been lied to from the beginning of the marriage till this point. And the more I try to resolve issue, the worse it gets. She has a family and friends that literally hang around the marriage. Whatever happens in the household, she discusses it with the family, and they gaslight. They go out there and smear, right now my family, they draw some of my family members into the gossip. And I mean, it's so big that I can't, I'm afraid to even interact with people right now that we were a part of. The last incident, she made everybody to believe that the house we bought is her house, her money, and her friends would just come into the house and do whatever they want to do and encourage people to come in. The last event was about 7 months ago when I waited until we went to bed, and I told her that, look, I'm tired of having your friends walk into the house and bringing strangers into the house after I've worked so many hours and I'm tired. And she got loud. It got so, I felt provoked, and I lost my cool, and I broke the phone. Her phone.
Yeah. Well, Joe, let me jump in here, man, because we're heading to a break right now. But we want to have you think of a question that you can ask us. I think we're getting a good picture that your wife is not safe and a dangerous situation, and you don't want to go further down the road of hurt and pain yourself. So think of a question. We're going to come back right after this and answer it.
I've been struggling with a porn addiction for the last 20 years.
Are you struggling with porn? New Life's Every Man's Battle Intensive can help.
Every Man's Battle explains to you why you are like you are, and they give you the tools and they show you how to work your way through the problems and where to get help and how to get help and who to get help through.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
This is the first time in my life that I ever felt comfortable sharing the real me with other men.
Get help on January 20th in Atlanta. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Use the discount code NLL to save $50 on your registration.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me.
You don't have to struggle any longer. 1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch listening to all this great information and not paying, so my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad that you're with us today. And we are talking with Joe. Joe, you are in a really, really difficult and even painful marriage. You had mentioned that. I just want to follow up with a couple quick questions here. And I know that you have a question for us. But in your wife's behavior, saying that she is lying about you, is that correct?
Yes.
And would you put that in the category of slander? Like, is she telling other people, like, negative things about you that would be harmful to the relationship?
Yes, that's what she's doing.
Okay. And how long have you guys been married?
We're going on 5 years.
5 years. Has this behavior always been active in the marriage? Has it always been present?
That's the scary part, because before we got married, it's like I was in heaven. And then all of a sudden, as soon as we got married, I ran straight into hell and never been able to get out of hell.
Yeah.
Everything that happens, it's just like I'm so depressed. It's affecting my job. It affects my lifestyle. I'm out of the house right now. The question I had was, I appealed. She filed for restraining order because of her phone got broken.
Yes.
And it was granted to her because she had a show in the court. I've never been violent to her before. I've never done anything threatening to her except that incident. And then now I appeal, and the appeal is finalized. I mean, it will be, the decision for the appeal will be made on the 2nd of January.
Okay.
And if that is clear, I'm not even starting to worry about going back into the same situation. I want to expect.
Yeah. So is that the question for us today? Is like, do you go back into this situation?
I don't know exactly what step to take right now.
Okay, good. Yeah, Marc, what do you think?
Yeah, this is a difficult situation here, Joe. Are you wanting to go back into this relationship? Because what I'm hearing you tell us, and I know that you're married, is that it's quite a toxic environment, and it's even pushing you to limits of doing things that you've never done before. So that tells me that you are out of the window of your stress tolerance when you're in that environment. Are you wanting to go back into that environment with it, all things remaining the same?
I don't know, and I haven't even told you half of it because of time constraint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She has a son who attacks me.
Mm-hmm. Who attacks you physically?
Physically and verbally, and makes certain threats towards me.
Mm-hmm. And this is her son?
Yes.
Okay.
He is 21 years old. He refuses to work or go to school.
Okay.
He plays.
Yeah, so this is a very unhealthy environment, and of course I'm not condoning any acts of aggression or violence on your part, but it sounds like you're going into fight or flight here, Joe. And so if you go back to the same environment with nothing changing, the same things are going to happen. What's stopping you from standing up for yourself and either holding a boundary or taking steps to make yourself safe? Because what you're saying where you're at is not safe. If you're being physically attacked by her son, who is an adult now, by the way, at 21 years old, this is not safe for you. What's holding you back from seeking safety or standing up for yourself?
I don't know. That's the reason why I'm calling. Maybe I can get some advice, because it is like so bad that before I could say a word, she goes to her family and friends, and they go on Facebook, my friends, and they just call them secretly and start talking with them. And I can tell because I know the kind of response. Some of them come back to me, but it's just, I've never seen anything like this. It forced me to go into reading, and the only thing that is 100% close to it is covert narcissists and their family, their dynamics.
And you may be right. You may be right here, Joe. But here's what I find is that people who get caught up in a situation, like you're in, they get stuck in something called learned helplessness. Mm-hmm. They are actually powerful enough to be able to make to do actions to help themselves, but they don't feel powerfulness inside, and they've learned that from prior experiences. Did you grow up in a chaotic home, or have you been in a similar chaotic environment or relationship before?
No, growing up, I had a extremely structured environment. My father was a disciplinarian, and if he does something wrong, he will punish you. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't say it's abuse. Now it might be called abuse, but he will spank you. And
well, Joe, in that, if I can jump in, there becomes a deeper reason in that learned helplessness that Marc was referring to, and that is that we've adopted a belief about ourselves, right? Like, what do you believe about you? That I'm unworthy, unlovable, not good enough. I don't deserve better than this, or this is the best I can get.
Or that I don't have power, because when I hear you talking about, growing up with your dad being a rigid, strict disciplinarian, I mean, that where he's going to spank you if you're falling outside of the lines. I mean, that sends a message to a person that, relationships are one up, one down, and I don't have the power. I don't have flexibility. I can't speak up. I can't advocate for myself.
The scary thing is I did everything. I feel like there is a need to cover up. That's where the whole concept of covert narcissism. We had camera in the house. She made sure that we can't put camera in the house so that the truth cannot come out. I made attempts to she went to a different church. I made an attempt to contact her pastor, who told her to break hold of this.
Well, Joe, let me jump in, because all these things is you're looking for someone else to make a decision that only you can make. That's what Marc is referring to, is like, I don't have the power, so maybe a pastor can convince. Somebody's got to convince her. It sounds to me nobody is going to convince her. She's not going to change. So you're left with it might be an unfair decision, but it is a real decision. Jim, I can see the wheels turning. Jim, what do you think?
Well, it's possible that she won't change, but to come back into the relationship in any way, you have to come back with some expectations and boundaries. I'll be in this relationship under these conditions, and you're going to need the coaching for that. So a coach, a counselor, don't do this alone. This is above your pay grade. And so, have somebody else come alongside you and help you form a plan if that's what you want. But I think it sounds like you might need to it's great to call us, but I think you need somebody who can walk alongside you to really look at the pros and the cons of this, and somebody who can actually also discern if what you're kind of diagnosing her is right. Mm-hmm. And that takes time. It takes more time than calling us. So I really would suggest strongly that you hang up and you let us help you.
Yeah, let us connect you with a therapist.
We can connect you with a counselor in your area, and they can help you think through this. This is where you really want, and the Bible says where there's no counsel, the people fall. But in the multitude of counselors there is safety. It means we need counsel and wisdom in areas that we don't know what to do. And it sounds like, you're in that process. It's better that way, because all the stuff you're saying is just, it's not good. It's not healthy. So you want to move toward health.
Yeah, what you're describing here, Joe, is a controller-victim dynamic. Yeah. And a way to get out the controller-victim dynamic is for you to become the survivor. Not what Chris was saying, waiting for someone else to make the decision. It's for you to become the survivor, and you make the decision. And the way that you do that is through seeking empowerment. Mm-hmm. So let us connect you with a counselor who can help you do that, so that you can realize that you are big enough, strong enough, and have responsibility and authority to make decisions to keep yourself safe.
That's really, really good. And so, Joe, we're going to send you a copy of the book, How We Love, because some of that is what Marc was referring to as, victim and controller, and these different types of ways in which we relate to each other. But Joe, what you also need here, and why I'm sending you a copy of that, is you need a vision for what a healthy, safe relationship looks like, because it definitely doesn't look like this. And so you're right to call in and definitely heed this advice to get in with a therapist, with a counselor who can guide you through this really, really difficult situation. It's so challenging. I've seen this too many times in my office, where you have a narcissist who controls through fear, manipulation, and then there's even this thing, if you want to look it up, it's called Darvo, and it sounds like that's what she's doing. But when you're actually what I call flipping the script, when I am doing the harm and then you complain about it, and then I'll flip it back on you and make you the persecutor and me the victim. And it's just such a damaging way to do relationship. But I'll land this here before we go to the break. Fear makes terrible decisions. Mm-hmm. And so that's why safety is something that we advocate all the time. Get safe, and so you can get clear and then make decisions. We're going to be back right after this.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad that you are all with us today. And I'm a little bit bummed right now, guys. You know why? Our time together today is coming to a close here in a few minutes, but I want to take advantage of what we have and what we have together, and especially share it with those out there. We're going to share it with Jared. Jared, so glad that you are with us today. You are in Austin, Texas, listening on a great partner station, KWRD. Jared, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing all right. How are you guys doing?
Good.
This is my first time checking this place out.
All right. Well, glad
you're checking us out.
Yeah. And welcome.
Yeah.
We're glad you're here. Let's hang out. Let's work on something, man. What's going on with you, and how can we help you?
All right. So I'm dealing with this girl, and you guys talked about, like, I heard one of the calls about, like, covert narcissism, and I think that's what I'm dealing with right now, and you know, like, I'm not perfect, but I'm not, like, lying about things, and I don't know, I feel like sometimes I gotta walk on eggshells with her, and I can't I can tell her stuff, but I can't tell her everything, because then she flips out about the most minute details. Like, I just graduated, and I had a friend who was at my graduation who I've known for like 3 years, and my girl sees her and then, like, had a conversation because my family was there, and my friend was like, oh yeah, I know this about him, and like, oh, he loves steak and all that, and then she just, like, it ruined the whole celebration in her mind, and she, like, was pouting and in a room pouting, and I was like, hey, come on out here and celebrate, and she's like, well, why does she know this, and how does she know that? And I'm like, I've known this person for 3 years, like,
yeah,
a friend. She was like, oh, well, you told me she was just a classmate, but I was like, I did her graduation photos, I don't know, like, friends for her is something different than friends for me, because I've never done anything sexual with this friend. Like, it's not even like that.
For sure. Well, Jared, here's what I'm going to start with. I'm going to have you eliminate the word covert narcissist. Not because it doesn't exist, and not because she may be that, but because I just think it's unhelpful in this situation right now, because you're trying to figure out her reactions and maybe some of the real difficult relational interactions that you guys are having in your relationship. And so, Mark, what's going on here, man?
It's funny you should say that, Chris, because I actually just wrote that down. I wrote not covert narcissist, and then I wrote next to that insecurities.
Oh, look, hey, we're going to share notes here.
Oh,
yep,
look,
right. Great
you're
mind.
so smart.
Thank you, Mark.
So, because, and I think what Chris is saying, because if you label it as covert narcissist, then that's kind of how you'll look at it. Rather than looking at, what's the insecurity there that's driving this behavior. And we get insecurities because of our prior experiences. So there's probably a prior wound there, or I would say there definitely is a prior wound there of hurt and our past experiences drive our current interactions here. Now, it sounds like you're just dating and you're just out of college. So how old are you?
29.
29. Okay, but you're still quite young here in the sense of you don't have kids yet, and you're not married. Is that correct?
Not quite.
Yeah, not quite. So, choosing a mate is one of the most important decisions of your life, because you're going to give the best years of your life to that person, and they're also going to become the parent to your children, and your children are going to share half of their genes. So you really want to make sure that you get this stuff right. Now, just because we get into a relationship with others and we're dating and insecurities come out doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, because we all have insecurities. The key part is learning and understanding about those insecurities inside of us and seeing if we can work together to work those out. And that's what you should be doing in the dating phase. And so, well, you haven't listened to the show often. You said you're just kind of checking us out. But if you listen longer, you'll hear us talking about people dating in help me out here. What am I trying to say?
Dating in the context of both community. Like
yes,
you
dating
have
in community. That's the word that
was
trying to come to my mind.
My tribe gets to know what's going on.
Yes. Yeah. So dating with basically a board of directors in your life of people who can speak into it and give you their frank insights as to whether they think that you guys are a good fit or what their concerns are. Do you have anyone like that?
I think I do. I think my community's good. She doesn't really have anyone other than her grandmother.
But what do people tell you about her? Do they have concerns?
Yes. Some people do. They're like, hey, she's a little immature still, emotionally. And that's going to be something to watch out for, because I'm pretty even, like I don't let my emotions drive, but she lets them drive.
So I would say don't just stand on the sidelines and watch out for them here.
Yeah.
I would address that with her. Address the dynamic that you see. Address the hurt or the wound that it seems like is coming out in her, and have a frank conversation about that. Because it's not just going to go away.
Yeah. And Jared, the reason we date is to see how this relationship is going to go. And, most of the people we dated, we didn't marry, or at least in that case for many of us. And so, what it is, if you're looking at different flags, red flags, yellow flags, green flags, well, there's always going to be some flags, and no person that you're going to be in a relationship that eventually moves to marriage is perfect. But how she's reacting, you don't like that. And so you've got to decide, am I willing to, move into this? Because it could still be worth moving into, but it also may be something that you say, you know what, she was a great time dating, and now we're going to move to something else. I mean, don't be afraid to do that. Don't think that you have to settle for somebody who has lots of issues. That doesn't mean, again, we're never going to marry somebody perfect, and we're never going to find that.
And we also have to watch out for the trap that getting married fixes problems.
Right. No.
Whatever you have right now, 5x it when you get married.
It's only amplified.
Seriously. I tell the people all the time, because what you have is what you get.
Right.
And that has to be the clarity in which we go into these situations, and using a lot of wisdom around that.
Yeah. I tell people getting ready for marriage, I say, what's the answer? Marry well.
Exactly.
And also choose well.
Yeah.
Our friend Henry Cloud, who wrote a book on boundaries with dating, said date, but have some good boundaries in there, and then that's going to help you decide if this person you move forward with or if you don't.
Absolutely. And so, Jared, we're going to send you a copy of How We Love, because it's going to show you relational patterns, but also how to securely connect It's another way of saying how to have a really, really healthy relationship. So, Jared, thank you so much for calling in. Thank you for checking us out and hanging out with us. And we want more guys like you that are willing to look at healthy patterns in relationship and build healthy relationships. We are able to do what we do because of people like you all out there that give and support us. People like Paul and Lori in Denver, Colorado, or Hal in Keller, Texas, or Judy in Sacramento, California, that are financially contributing, who have donated to us. Right now, if you contribute, it is doubled because of a matching gift. So I want to encourage you all out there, help us continue to do what we do to bring hope and healing in life's hardest places. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. So glad. Sorry it's coming to an end, but until next time, be well.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video? And please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.